Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Rose, and I'm a senior campaign manager at Aspire IQ. I'm really excited to be here today interviewing Emily Dunn. She is the director of marketing and branding at Snap Kitchen. For the second event in our Aspire Higher Speaker Series. This series brings together top brands, investors, and thought leaders to share their perspectives on how and why brands should invest in building deeper relationships with the people who love them most. Today, Emily will be sharing her thoughts on how marketers can prove the value of influencer and brand community efforts and how successful influencer marketing can impact the entire funnel. Emily holds a master's degree in strategic digital communication and has over 10 years of experience across digital, brand, influencer, affiliate, and integrated marketing. Her broad experience has really helped companies evolve their social media programs and prowess, offering both agency and corporate experience that crosses multiple verticals. She specializes in strategically building data-driven global influencer marketing strategies, optimizing affiliate programs, and delivering impressive integrated results while teaching best practices turned into case studies. And I am so excited to get into this with her. I've been working with her for a while now. She is truly just awesome to work with, and she knows her stuff. So I think this will be a really good one for you guys. So to kick off our conversation, tell us about Snap Kitchen and your role there.
Yes, of course. And thank you all for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. And I just love everything that you all do. You all are the best partners. So this is a dream. Thank y'all again so much. Let's see. So Snap Kitchen, here we go. I love being the director of branding and marketing at Snap Kitchen. There is never a dull moment where I work, and I'm always being presented with new challenges that continue to, of course, keep me learning and growing as we all go. I lead influencer, affiliate, social, brand, and a whole lot more. We're a small but mighty team, and we're doing a lot of good in the communities that we serve. So knowing that we're making a difference in people's lives with the delicious and nourishing meals that we provide at Snap Kitchen is truly this super incredible feeling. It's also amazing to see how our influencer partners are incorporating Snap Kitchen into their daily lives. We're always learning so much from them.
That's awesome. I think a lot of our brands can relate to having a small but mighty team and wearing many hats. So like we're super excited to get into kind of what you do a little bit more and what you've been able to accomplish while at Snap Kitchen. I know you've had various roles across influencer and digital marketing at several respected brands such as rewardStyle, Fossil, and Neiman Marcus before coming to Snap Kitchen. Can you share a little bit about your career path and how those shaped your approach as a marketer?
Absolutely. So I have been in this industry a very long time now. Ever since obtaining my master's degree in digital communication and working as an intern at Fleischmann Hillard over 10 plus years ago, I was helping brands such as Toyota establish relationships with bloggers while working to build out exciting brand activations in this new space. From there, I went corporate. I went to a very large tech company in Dallas, Fort Worth, and worked as a community manager. And then, of course, transitioned into social media marketing and doing events in the B2B space. But I continued to watch how blogging was quickly evolving into influencer marketing. And I just knew, like, this is my calling, and I need to work to quickly get back to be able to be a part of this fast growing, fascinating space that we all work in today. So I started to research influencer marketing companies and agencies. I was already all in. I'm like, give me all the trends. Where is this going? And it's how I came to find rewardStyle. So I quickly secured a coffee meeting with one of their VPs. And then from there, I had a role at rewardStyle, and I joined their brand campaign team. So this very much helped launch my career in influencer marketing and affiliate marketing. And I'm so grateful for this because when I was there, it was incredible, like all of the learning experiences that were at our hands. It was like I was just soaking everything up like a sponge, meeting the most incredible influencers and being part of helping our industry grow. So, of course, again, super grateful for that experience. But after that, I then went on to lead influencer marketing at Fossil Group on a global level. So this was even more challenging, more eye-opening, and so much knowledge gaining there too. I worked across brands such as Tory Burch, Armani, Michael Kors, Kate Spade, Marc Jacobs, Diesel, you name it. Fossil Group, incredible portfolio of brands. One of my favorite influencer campaigns to date was when I was working on a Diesel campaign and we were launching a new tech-enabled smartwatch. And this smartwatch had a huge functionality of music incorporated into the design. So what happened is we led a national campaign and we worked with the DJ Steve Aoki and also the band Imagine Dragons. And we layered on this hyper-local influencer events activation in Diesel's Soho boutique, and that ended up going viral on Instagram. And seriously,
Wow.
yeah, it was incredible. All of my friends
Love
were
it.
hitting me up like, what? Like, Diesel's everywhere on the gram. And it was just like, seriously, pinch me moments.
Yeah, such a great career moment for you.
Yes, it was incredible. So looking at those successes and those true wins and really hitting virality by doing it right and having an integrated strategy, those are the examples, those best in class case studies that I continue to iterate off of today. So from Fossil Group, always have to continue to challenge yourself and grow. So I moved over to Neiman Marcus, where I led both influencer and affiliate marketing on their social media team. And it was really, really fun to work in this integrated marketing environment, really taking a 360 approach and layering on conversion driving initiatives. So at Neiman's, the influencers we were working with were actors, athletes, models, designers, alongside working with what we know is our typical tiers and influencer types today. So it was influencers across the board, across the spectrum. From there, I knew a few years later that my family would be moving to Austin. So I actually ended my career at Neiman Marcus because I decided to go consulting. So I did social media marketing and influencer marketing consulting for a while until we moved down to Austin. And then the opportunity of Snap Kitchen was brought to me, and that is where I am today. It's been such an amazing experience, and we've been working through incredible rebranding efforts at Snap Kitchen. We have super big plans for influencer marketing towards the end of this year and next year, and that also includes culinary partnerships, so much more to come.
That sounds so exciting, especially those culinary partnerships. I think you have such a wide range of working with all types of influencers. But I'm sure like when you joined Snap Kitchen, you didn't expect there to be a pandemic that came that came our way, right? So with so with the economic impact of COVID, many brands have been forced to tighten their budgets. How have you navigated those current challenges in your marketing budget for Snap Kitchen?
Yes, absolutely. And again, so grateful to have Aspire IQ as partners because y'all were with us. We were wrapping the end of our first campaign when the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And we were ready to give us insights and learnings. We used those. They worked so well. So again, really blessed to have the partners in you all that we do. And the pandemic, I mean, it's definitely had an impact on our business as well, especially since Snap Kitchen works across 3 different revenue models.
Right.
So one of those revenue models is our retail stores. So when our stores were ordered to close, that of course had an impact on our business. And from that, we had to cut our marketing spend drastically back. But luckily, we have strong, incredible influencer partners, and we were really able to lean in there. Also, with everything that the world's going through right now, we decided we got to make this right. We have to do our part. We need to do the right thing. And we actually shift away from planned campaigns that we had. We said no to them. Maybe we won't do them. Maybe we're just pausing them for now. But we've got to figure out cause marketing. You know, we really need to lead with our cause marketing efforts now. So what that meant for us is we started heavily donating to essential workers, frontline workers, both on the local level and then also at the national level, where we did a huge national campaign around cause marketing with a really incredible program called Fuel the Frontline.
I think the cause marketing that you guys are doing has been great. You guys shifted really quickly, and I think it's been so important that you shifted quickly, you pivoted, you did what was necessary, and you were able to balance, right, that sales with actually like being able to donate and being able to give back, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I know people are so tired of talking about COVID, but it is it is still a part of our everyday life for now. And so I know, meal delivery services have been one of the few industries that have thrived during this time. What has changed about how you engage with your customers in context of COVID?
Yes, so much has changed. Learning every single day, navigating challenges every single day. What we found at Snap Kitchen is that the safety messaging that we put out there is incredibly important, especially when you're in the direct to consumer space, you're in the food and beverage space, like safety, safety, safety. That is what is mattering most right now, as it should. So again, like with safety and also the times that we're in and having to navigate together, it really is about needing to be more empathetic with messaging, and knowing those pain points that we're solving for has also made a huge difference for us. So social listening continues to be very vital here, and we've gleaned a lot from it, really listening from our community. What is happening? What are people saying? What are people going through? And in doing this, it's helped direct our new narrative to be more relatable, and it's very compelling, and we're leading with a very encouraging type of messaging too. Like as a brand, you never want consumers to feel that the messaging you're sending them is coming off as insensitive to the current situation. We've seen backlash when brands have done that. Like,
Totally.
definitely not good to run a COVID-19 sale. So that's why empathy in marketing is so important. You need, as a brand, to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your customers, your consumers, really understand that. And during the global pandemic, the last thing, again, that any brand should be doing is thinking only about themselves, those profit margins, without concerning themselves with the well-being of the communities that they're serving. You really need to be there for your general public. So empathy marketing shows consumers that businesses not only care just about themselves, but they're really taking the time to put their customers first, to be able to understand them, to be able to relate to them. So in this, we're really working to give people hope. We're focusing on highlighting how we can help, and that's something that we're incredibly proud of.
Yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job. To switch gears a little bit, what kind of results have you seen, evolve from scheduling photo shoots to like actually leveraging influencers and community generated content for your emails, your social, your paid ads, all of that stuff? What are the results you're seeing, during this time?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite questions ever, because
Yes.
it just talks to the power of influencer marketing and the ROI that's in it. So we've seen extremely impressive results as it's come to leveraging influencer generated content, community generated content, not only at Snap Kitchen, but literally across my entire career. And this trend of influencer content performing more than branded content is really picking up, really gaining strength. It just continues to do so. So one of those impressive examples actually happened with Snap Kitchen's first ever Aspire IQ campaign.
Yeah.
Woo! Such a value our team. Like, y'all know, I tell this story all the time. I'm like, here's the case study for using.
We love it so much.
Here you go. The influencer generated content case study for using your campaign content in paid media efforts, because like the results can be like insanely impressive. So what happened is we were running our first campaign with Aspire IQ, building new relationships with influencers. And one of our influencers sent through this super high quality, vibrant, amazing photo that put Snap Kitchen's prepared meals as the hero in the shot. So she converted organically around 16 times, which still great. That's amazing. She's converter, great. But what happened when we put that piece of content that we now own through Aspire IQ into our paid social media efforts? Well, that one piece of content has converted over 2,000 times in paid
Crazy.
media. Yeah,
That's so amazing.
it is amazing. I tell my CEO, I tell anyone who's ever asking, you know, what's the value? Well, here you go. It's incredible. And we also didn't have to pay, you know, a photographer in-house, do the studio time. Like there's just so many benefits to using this. We still use that piece of content 6 months later, not only in paid social, we use it in decks. We are, you know, thinking about using it as an insert in our box. And so it's just incredible. And we have a super strong relationship with this influencer still today. She's amazing. Shout out to Laura. And also, given all of this, we're going big with influencer generated content moving forward. And we're creating things like influencer landing pages that are shoppable, thinking about influencer Snack Kitchen curated boxes. Maybe if the content's just as incredible as this other piece of content was, we even use it for things like billboards, we're doing video. So really the sky is the limit here, and there's just so many benefits that can come from this. So remember to just think big.
Yeah, I love that you're thinking big and thinking about like the boxes and them being curated by influencers. I think like when we hear those ideas, we're like, yes, because we're all about that, like really making it perform like a billion times what you expect it to. Just that one image can give you so much, or that one video. Speaking of performance, I know it does ladder up to your performance marketing. How has it improved engagement, you know, versus community sourced versus studio shot content?
Yes, absolutely. The above perfect example, and most of the time, yes, like it just continues to improve everything, which is why it's a large part of our strategy, and it always will be. So people, of course, we want relatable content, and that old trend of being like super editorial and like very perfect and over edited, that's mostly over. And we can also thank the pandemic for that too, right? Because it's just like,
Totally.
that's not real life. Like I need to be relatable. So
Yep.
it's why influencer generated content like starts to feel so much more authentic. It's in the moment. And that is exactly why it outperforms most of the time the studio shot content. So it's super important to have great communication with your influencer partners so they know what you need, and you are making sure to communicate those expectations up front. So then that way, as the brand, it allows me to give our influencer partners creative freedom, and just making sure that they're extremely informed going into campaign launches, certain initiatives. And so really you're supporting them, and that in turn makes the content they create the best that it can be. So a richer form of communication that I implemented when I came on board to Snap Kitchen is I saw the need for more communication. People aren't reading as much today, so why not start hosting webinars for our influencer partners? And this has resulted in an increase of content that's earned because we've been able to excite them and build stronger relationships at the same time.
Yeah, I think webinars are even more important now with influencers to keep them engaged, right? We can't have those activations anymore in person. So I think that's like super helpful to build that relationship. Continuing on that path, like tell us about your journey from transactional campaigns to creating these long-term relationships and how you made that shift.
Yes, again, another amazing trend that I've fully for. So the days of your one and done partnerships are seriously coming to an end. Research shows that influencers need to be highlighting a brand or product multiple times before their audience actually transacts. They need to be able to work that entire marketing funnel. So, plus these one-off collaborations, they usually come off super inauthentic, hashtag sponsored. No one wants to be called out for that. So in order to go against this, we have a very heavy vetting process when it comes to influencer partnerships. And we take this three-pronged approach to how we're doing influencer marketing at Snap Kitchen. So what that means is we have a local brand ambassador program that works on an earned basis that we assess at the end of every single quarter. So when we start to see high converters, we move them onto paid campaigns, and this works through affiliate, adding that affiliate conversion layer on there. And those influencer partners are getting paid a flat rate, they're getting product, they're using affiliate links, and they also of course, have their own promo code as well. So we're really able to double track conversions. And from there, then for those bigger marketing tentpole moments, which could be huge events, working with celebrities, things that weren't press releases, the big launches, we are making sure to do those larger, big campaign pushes. So then that way we can have even more influencer relationships being built in strategic demographics as well. So that has been incredible. And having even more of these evergreen brand ambassador programs that are running on an annual basis doesn't only increase awareness and helps with conversion, but it goes beyond that because they're constantly on for us. So it's increasing things like LTV, lifetime value of a customer. It's increasing average order value of a customer. And that's really where magical things start to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And that, of course, is like when people really start taking influencer marketing seriously.
Totally. And you've been able to foster a community, and I think it's incredible. So what does community mean to you? And like, what is most important? How is it most important to your brand?
Yes, community is the foundation of our brand. It's incredibly important to us. So community is our customers, our team members, our influencer, affiliate, media partners, our chefs, our nutritionists, third-party vendors. It's those local communities that we serve, that we're building relationships with, both in the physical world and then also in the digital world as well. And at Snap Kitchen, we're dreaming of a world that's rooted in deliciously healthy food that's accessible, it's convenient, and it's sustainable for all. And this mission is completely driven on community.
Yeah. So how do you engage those community members like influencers in a way that's mutually beneficial, like a real relationship or a one-to-one real partnership? What is that like?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, at Snap Kitchen, it all goes back to the focus on health. So anyone can be an influencer these days. And a really beautiful example of this is an amazing 18-month-long partnership that we're currently doing right now with one of our longtime customers, Sebastian De La Riva. So Sebastian came to us. He emailed me one day, probably found my email on LinkedIn, right? Super savvy. Good job, Sebastian. And his story was super compelling. It was heartfelt. It was real. It was relatable. And he told me how, he got married. He became a father. He's been putting his family first. He's been putting his work first. He's a stand-up, amazing, amazing person. But in doing all of that, he lost himself and he really let his health go, right? He let it fall to the wayside. I mean, I can relate to that. So many people can relate to that.
Totally.
So, right? He had like an aha moment, a wake-up call. And he's like, no, I need to be strong for my family. I need to be my best self. And he realized that it was time to make that really big change so he could stay, again, super healthy for everyone. And he emailed and was like, I'm doing an Ironman. Like, I'm going to.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. It's incredible. And in that Ironman journey, he also has been on our keto meal plan program too. And so that's been incredible to support his journey. And we've even been able to pair him with another influencer partner in our brand ambassador program, Brittany, who's also located in Houston, Texas. And she's an incredible personal trainer. And what's really amazing is within this whole keto health and fitness Ironman journey, he has these really strategic weight loss goals as well and muscle gaining goals. And Brittany's been able to help him get closer and closer to achieving that goal. And he's making some serious progress again on our keto meal plan. So it's been in supporting his journey that it truly is the best. It's authentic marketing, it's real, and being able to forge those relationships too. It's like you're starting to have those light bulb moments because you're like, okay, he's in Houston, Brittany's in Houston. How can we take what idea he's pitched us and grow it and make it that much bigger and support everyone? And really at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about helping people.
Yeah, I mean, you're a dot connector. That's amazing.
Like matchmaking.
Yeah, matchmaking. Yes, I feel like, scaling influencer programs is a huge challenge in maintaining that personal touch, but it looks like you've been able to do that. So how should brands tackle that in a way that feels authentic?
Oh my goodness. Yes, this is super duper hard, especially with small teams. It's a challenge that I'm actually facing today. So it's really, really important to be staffed up correctly to be able to handle that workload that goes into running successful evergreen influencer programs. Influencer marketing is a relationship business, and I treat our influencers as they're part of the team and they're part of the Snap Kitchen family, because they absolutely are. And this goes a long way into turning them into brand advocates, into making it authentic, and then also into them becoming friends with us and my team. And that's incredible. But then also, when you're thinking about scaling your programs, you have to onboard tools as well. Tools are absolutely essential when you're growing your influencer marketing programs, you're looking to scale. And I'm excited because we're actually in the process of onboarding with Aspire IQ's CRM today as well.
Yay!
Yes, cannot wait, need it so much. It will help with all of this so much.
Totally. You have to make sure you're keeping in contact with these influencers and having a place you can go to go back to that relationship time and time again, where it's easy for you to track. Thinking about influencer marketing and the scope of your team and, your boss, how do you communicate the value? What metrics matter most to you and the team?
Yes, absolutely. I would say gone are the days of the influencer marketing vanity metrics, looking at impressions and things like that. What's really great is, in speaking of these tools and being able to have API access, we're able to have real-time results, and deeper data and deeper analytic access as well. So what's important to me and my team, what does my CEO want to see at the end of the day? I'm running conversion-driven influencer marketing campaigns. I'm looking at CPA, I'm looking at conversions, engagement, reach. We're testing and learning and continuing to always share these wins with leadership. And of course, in doing this, no one can deny the power in influencer marketing, especially when you're scaling it with other tactics like paid social.
Totally. And I want to pause here too. Please, guys, put in your questions. We'll be having a Q&A at the end of this, so make sure you drop those in. So what are some ways you look forward to engaging your community to deliver that value to your brand in the future?
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely brought us greater awareness in engaging our communities, especially in those local markets where we have retail stores, retail presence, and that this means more business for us too at the end of the day. And it really helps with our brand perception. It gets the community excited about what we're doing, and then in turn increases word of mouth, which then ups brand affinity as well.
Yeah. What's your top advice for other brands fostering communities? Because you're doing such a good job at it.
Thank you. We're trying. Incorporating them more into the brand in a super authentic way, more surprise and delight moments, more in-person activations when we're all safe to do so.
Yes, I'm looking forward to doing in-person activations. I feel like it really helps bringing the community together and having those relationships created within the community. So I look forward to the day that we can get back to that. So I know. So I'll pause right there and start to put out some questions from the audience. One question here we have: can you tell us more about how you use social listening in your workflow? What tools are you using, and how did you build your topics, and what data and results are you sharing with your team? I know that's a loaded question.
That is a great question and super, super important. So luckily for us, even though we have a small, mighty, awesome team internally, we also work with awesome, incredible agencies at Snap Kitchen too. So our social media agency has access to a lot of social listening tools that they will share with us all of the insights that are coming in. We have a quantitative report, we have a qualitative report, we have sentiment, and what they do as far as culling through qualitative data that's coming in is they'll pull out comments on social, and they'll highlight like applicable things to our brand, which is really incredible. And one of the things that I see a lot of people falling short on when it comes to your influencer campaigns, and when it comes time to wrap, comes time to do the reporting, is to really go through the comments on the post that the influencer posted for you, whatever channel it may be on, because there's so much rich information in those comments, and usually about your brand, questions that you should answer that probably will help inform your content strategy going forward. So don't forget that. And again, props to Aspire IQ, because y'all include that in your reports, and really, like, we appreciate it. And then we build content strategy for, you know, the next quarter to get ahead of what people actually care about and are interested in hearing.
Yeah, I think comment sentiment is huge. It really shows what people really are caring about, what they're responding to. It's like, that is true social media, right? Yeah, so how does your organic social strategy partner with your influencer strategy?
For sure. Great question too. So we love incorporating these two together. Again, integrated marketing tactics at their finest.
Yep.
So again, like, influencers are part of our brand, right? And they're part of our community. They're part of who Snap Kitchen is today. And what we do is, of course, we utilize their content in feed and in stories. We use it in our content marketing strategy to make sure that we are highlighting our influencers on a weekly basis. And we do tons of giveaways with them, so that way we're getting out to more and more audiences, and again, making sure that everyone's winning at the end of the day. So there's just so many things that we do with our influencers that we incorporate into our organic strategy as well.
Awesome. And how is your team structured to work together across influencer, paid, social, and affiliate? I know that's mostly you.
I would like to sit in HR someday and tell them how to staff and program.
Totally.
This is so crazy. Like, I've been, you know, corporate agency going on now even 12 plus years, and where influencer sits, it could be on a performance marketing team, on a PR team. It was on PR at Fossil Group. It was on social media team at right? And today it was on performance marketing. But what's nice at Snap Kitchen, again, small but mighty, we blend it together. So I lead brand and marketing, which is influencer and affiliate, and then my amazing counterpart Claire leads performance marketing and BI. But again, ROI and influencer marketing, incorporating it into performance marketing. So it's just, you got all this crossover happening.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that evolution, right? It used to sit in PR, and it's, you know, we're seeing that evolution of it going into these different larger roles, but it is becoming a marketing role. That is your marketing, right? So it's been really cool to see the evolution over the past years, for sure.
Yes, super important to have a team that can wear multiple hats.
Yes. So what would you consider a good ROAS or ROI?
Oh man, it just depends on your goal, right? Like, back into the goal all day long. Know your KPIs. What's important, not only what's important to you, but what's important to your leadership team, and align on those things so you can make sure to have the budget to do it again and again and again. If we are looking at a conversion driving campaign, we use benchmarks all the time, which is really nice. We have over a year of data doing influencer marketing, right? We have like great trackability. And if I'm coming to Aspire IQ and I'm like, I want to run a conversion campaign, here's my benchmark on what I want my CPA to be for each influencer, then that's how I position it, right? But it always has to go back to the goal and the KPIs that you are needing to track to.
Yeah, it's like your North Star, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Do you have any insight on how influencers can work in the B2B world, and how to get B2B marketers on board with the idea?
Yes. Ooh, these are great questions.
They're juicy questions.
Yes, so good. So amazing. I love it. Getting me thinking today. So I love this because I've worked in B2B and B2C, and it's really about opening your mind to what an influencer is, right? And in B2B, if you're in tech, it could be someone who's, like a data strategist. It could be someone who's like the unicorn of all things HTML. Like to me, in the B2B world, an influencer is a subject matter expert in your industry. And so you need to be able to think about how you're bringing them into the marketing fold. How are you highlighting them in your email program? Maybe do a cool drip series that's all around education in the space. Talk to how thought leaders are utilizing your product, right? Like use these case studies and examples that highlight SMEs as influencers and start to pulse that through your content going forward.
I love that. What are some vetting tools that you can incorporate when choosing the proper influencers for your campaigns?
Aspire IQ.
Yes.
I love it. It's super important to make sure that you have access to media kits. And unfortunately, people lie sometimes, not everyone, some people, and you have to validate the data. You don't, as a brand, you really need to be cautious and wary of partnering with influencers who could be buying followers, who could be buying engagement. And you need to have tools to be able to figure that out. So Aspire IQ is amazing. You can see influencers, digital media kits in real time, and you can vet things too. You just need to be able to know the methodology of getting into really knowing like what's a good engagement rate. And if someone has a certain amount of followers and that engagement rate is like through the roof or like teeny tiny, then those are ways that you could even just use math and benchmarking to be like, whoo, red flag, this person most likely is buying followers and or in buying engagement. I would just continue to research and looking at other tools for vetting. A lot of people have proprietary algorithms built into their technology to where you can pop in an influencer's URL if we're just strictly thinking Instagram, and you'll be able to see like a growth chart of spikes in follower growth. And if they just have like looking like a viral growth of like, 10,000 followers plus in one day, and that is not how the Instagram.
Not a good sign.
Then obviously you'll be like, whoa, who is this person? If you Google them and they were part of like a press release or something crazy,
right?
Answer right there too. So just be really cognizant of that.
Yeah, do your research.
Yes.
Do your research. You're spending money on this. You're investing in these influencers to, send your message out to the world. It's really important to do your due diligence.
Exactly.
So someone asked, can you go a bit deeper in the types of influencer relationships you have? I caught earned, affiliate, and then product launch participants. Where and when do you add in new influencers, and how long do you keep people on as earned partners?
Yes. Oh my gosh, great question. So I'm going to look at this and answer it as it, came in. So let's see, going deeper into the types of influencer relationships, we work across tiers at Snap Kitchen, and that is because of who our target audience is, and just knowing our community at Snap Kitchen, we're very lifestyle focused. So we're being your partner in health. And so we'll work with foodies, we'll work with trainers, we'll work with nutritionists and doctors, we'll work with mommy bloggers who are needing to find convenience in their day, especially while they don't have time to like prep, cook, clean, chop, do all the things, right? And so it's been really cool because we work across all different types of influencers, we work across all different tiers of influencers, and again, ROI and tiers. I have a micro influencer. She has less than 5,000 followers. She has a killer CPA of $10, and she's converted like 80 times. And she's a digital marketer by day and like a cycle instructor. Like, I don't know how she does it all. So, like, not a big following, and she's insanely high converter. So never knock a micro influencer ever, or macro, because then you have your macro for impressions and also conversions.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So like, really important for us, and I think for everyone nowadays, to work across tiers and types. And then yes, we do earned gifting campaign. We really start a lot of our relationships off in an earned way. It's getting to know one another, right? It's influence marketing's relationship business. So they get a feel for us, we get a feel for them, we make sure it's the right fit. And then after that, every single quarter, we're looking at, okay, did they meet all of their obligations in the contract? Right? Like, what was the performance like? And then we start to assess if that is a good fit. And of course, most of the time we've done our due diligence. I think like every single time it's been a good fit. And if they are starting to outperform like crazy, then we're like, oh, well, like, let's move them onto paid if they're interested. And then we can start layering in conversion, affiliate driving tactics, and help them grow and better their business and things that they're doing too. So that's always been fun for me to also like mentor up our influencers as well. And then we have huge launches, and there's definitely the time for big paid campaigns. We just recently launched our shipping to California.
Yay, we're so happy.
Like, coast to coast, like, it's amazing. We have our direct ship prepared meals business revenue channel as well, and that's huge. And we don't really have any influencer relationships in California yet, and so then we do these really big paid campaigns. We start to build new relationships there, and so that's how it works for us.
Yeah, kind of continuing on that, do you stop working with influencers who aren't performing well, and how do you navigate those conversations?
That's really difficult. That's super hard. And especially with the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, and everything, you have to really be good with monitoring your content as well. These people are part of your brand. They represent your brand. Unfortunately, sometimes there is reason to terminate a relationship with an influencer, and we did have to have legal involved to help us navigate that, when it was like, oh, that's not the way that we treat people, that's not the way that our brand operates, that's not part of our ethos. And so we had to part ways, but hopefully you can do it amicably. And it's just really important to be able to tell them, why, in a very respectful way. So those are really hard things to navigate, and I would reach out to your peers and ask how they're navigating them as well, and definitely bring in legal to help you too.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also customer service, right? Like there's also like that level of it that I think people don't really take into account. There is a customer service level of, these relationships, and especially when it comes down to a partnership that needs to be terminated, it really needs to be handled with kid gloves. Yeah, it's real. So someone asked, I've been having challenges tracking metrics on IG stories, which is where most of our influencer posts come from, which I think a lot of brands are seeing that. Yes. It's really easy to create this content on the spot. It's very authentic and real. Any advice on how to handle this?
Get an amazing tool like Aspire. I'm so pumped, y'all. You can tell. We need it. We're having this same issue too. So for us, when we didn't have the tool to be able to get all of those results in real time and have them saved down for us digitally, we such a manual process. It is so real, and why you need a really solid, awesome team that can do all the work to do it right, that's required to do it right. So screenshots, you gotta have that trust with your influencer partnerships, and if they're posting up in stories and they are swiping up, then at the end of the day, they need to be sending you the results through screenshots so you know that they're true, and then that way that helps your reporting at the end of the day.
So true. And yeah, that's one thing that's great about Aspire is like we capture those stories for you. So you don't have to have them send screenshots, and it's amazing. I think I remember that was such a big thing, right? When stories came out, everybody was like, how do we track this? How do we grab this content? So it's so great. You don't have to worry about it. It's there for you, and you can go back to it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So how do you determine CPA and CPC goals for campaigns, and what metrics do you look at when determining the success of a campaign?
Yes, absolutely.
I know you already talked about success metrics, but
Exactly. So this goes up to, maybe goes back to 4 or 5 questions ago, is knowing your why, knowing your goal for doing the campaign. And if it's internal, going back to the team, these are the KPIs we're tracking. If it's the agency, it's being really, really, lock in step of saying like, this is the primary goal, this is a secondary goal. If it is a conversion goal, then I'm going to make sure that they know that I'm going to be asking them for CPA, for number of conversions. I'm going to want to know what, the CAC is. I'm going to want to know potentially like ROAS, right? And especially just, again, benchmarking and trying to figure out what your benchmarks are too. So you can say like, okay, here's the sweet spot. Here's where we want to be. Get everyone on board and then develop a strategy from there on how you're going to achieve those.
Yeah, benchmarks are really helpful in tracking and making sure you're staying on track when you're running these campaigns. How do you track conversions? Is it via discount code or direct links? Can you get a little bit more into that?
Correct. So discount codes are super huge for us. We have internal reporting. We look at Google Analytics. We look through our Tableau and make sure that all of our influencers have their unique promo code, which is so essential to the way that we're being able to capture conversions. And then also on the affiliate side of things, whenever they move into that paid structure, they have access to our affiliate links, then I'm able to jump into share, sale, or impact wherever it may be and see who's driving what there too.
I really like this question. What platforms do you think are the highest converting / best at driving sales? Is it Instagram posts, YouTube, affiliates, blogs, Facebook?
Depends on the influencer. So, you could be an influencer who has 20,000 followers on Instagram, but your blog could have insane traffic and you have a super solid affiliate strategy with like 12 plus links and widgets in each blog post. And then that is your highest converting channel. So this is why it's super important to get those media kits. It's okay to ask for conversion data too. What's your conversion rate? What price point are you typically converting at? Some people convert at lower price points. Some people are magical and very rare and can, convert at
those unicorns.
Insanely high price points that I have to figure out when I was at Neiman Marcus. But yeah, it's all about those digital media kits and asking for those numbers. But if I were to say like general, where we're at today, what I've seen in my career, Instagram stories is like your best bet for sure.
Yeah, totally. We've seen that as well. So a follow-up question to benchmarks. How do you find benchmarks for influencer content?
Yes, our agencies are awesome at delivering benchmarks for us. I save my benchmarks throughout my career and make sure that I'm, refreshing them year to year. I ask my peers for benchmarks, been doing this a long time, lucky to have a lot of friends in the biz too. And then of course, Aspire IQ, right? Like you guys are capturing benchmarks and just go to their blog. Like it's such a rich form of all of that type of information that you need.
Totally. And it's like the more campaigns you're doing, the more data that you can pull and actually create those benchmarks that are like appropriate for you and your brand.
Exactly.
So any tips for working with influencers with no budget to hire them?
Yes.
You have a lot of insight here in this. And do you find it difficult to get influencers to work with you for product only?
Oh my gosh, yes. I am always running an earned campaign, especially in the pandemic. We need to give each other a lot of grace on what's happening. Businesses are going out of business.
Absolutely.
Marketing budgets, not all of them, most of them are not increasing. I know that some of our competitors increased. We weren't able to do that. We had to decrease and it was really difficult. But I just make it fair. At the end of the day, it has to be an even trade, and it has to be brand aligned. And influencers who truly love your brand and love what you do, they're gonna want to be a part of it. And even if they are used to being paid and they're at that level where they absolutely should be being paid, they're working hard for you, delivering results, delivering conversions. When your marketing spend goes back up, who's the first person you're going to think of being like, time to pay her, time to pay him, right? It's again, it's relationship building. I had one of my longtime influencer friends who I just reached out to and said, hey, like, come do Whole30 challenge with us. We have so many Whole30 compliant meals. Like, yeah, but this is my rate now. And I'm like, that's amazing. Love to honor that when I can, absolutely. But here's what I can do. I can give you X amount in Snap Kitchen funds, and then we can have an understanding with each other. If that's cool, then perfect. That's my only form of being able to pay you right now.
Totally.
And, right? And so it's just those honest interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if someone's in it for the money, then they're going to say no, and then they probably weren't the best partner for you in the first place.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, there are influencers out there who really just want to build that relationship with you, and they see the bigger picture, right? Like they know one day you will have budget, and if they find it, your brand is interesting, or they're like you said, they've already experienced the brand. Those like high quality influencers, they will start off with you, and they just want to be a part. They want to build that relationship because they understand it is a building of that relationship, right? Because they're going to be that next one that you think about.
Yes.
What's the best way to reach out to influencers? Email, IGDM? What's the best way to catch their attention?
Yes, absolutely. So to catch their attention, start engaging. Start commenting, start liking, like give them all the props so they know that like you're serious about building that awesome relationship with them. I tend to be more professional and like old school in like, let's go the email route for sure. We get a lot of influencers DMing us, and we'll DM them and then give them the appropriate email address. So then that way I can attach things easier. We can have a paper trail. It holds me more accountable. So I'm a big fan of email, and influencers, you know, they're using their link tree. They're making sure to put their email information right there in the Instagram bio. So all good to go there.
Yeah, and Aspire IQ, I have to toot our horn. You can reach out to influencers on there, and it's great because there are a lot that are already on the platform. So that's another method as well.
So easy.
How are you planning for the holidays during this time at Snap Kitchen?
Ooh, empathy. We are social listening. We are seeing how people feel, right? We're navigating as sensitively as we absolutely can. We won't be going super big this year. We're just going to keep it happy and bring as much joy and convenience and help to people as we possibly can. But we'll save all that for going into the new year for sure.
Yeah, totally. I also think to be mindful of the election coming up, right? And when, you know, having all this content coming out, just be very sensitive to that time and what's going on. And I think that will also impact holiday as well.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to someone new to the industry? How can I get my foot in the door?
Yes, reach out to people. Be super confident and just communicate your passion. That's what I did. I was bold early in my career, and I was like, hello, VP on LinkedIn. And that's, you know, how I essentially got in my foot in the door at rewardStyle. So just be bold, know your worth. And if you're passionate about it, learn as much as you can. There's so many resources out there today.
So many resources. Oh my goodness. I mean, this industry has grown so much, right? And like now when we first started, it wasn't, like you said, it was the blogger age. There was barely any resources. Exactly. And so now there's the people that have been in it for a while, and you can learn a lot. So yeah, get out there and network.
Yes.
Recommendations for where to start for a one-person social team.
Ooh, recommendations on where to start for a one-person social team. Yes, I know the challenges there and how much time that takes. So slowly but surely, you know, just figure out a plan and get started and really know the program strategy and start to formulate that, and then map your roadmap out and your timeline. You know, you're compiling a list, you're starting with your outreach, and then just build slowly but surely from there.
How much of your strategy came from your internal team versus suggestions and conversations with Aspire IQ?
Jointly, like for sure. We definitely I come to Aspire IQ with my goals. I'm super transparent about where we're at in the business, super transparent about budget and wants and needs. And it's a hugely collaborative process. And they're incredible, they're experts. So I'm always, again, learning from them as well too.
Yes, we always learn from each other, which is so awesome. How many influencers / affiliates are you working with at one time?
Yes. Well, for right now, we have about 40 to 50 influencers on our earned local brand ambassador programs across multiple Texas cities and also in Philly. And then we have our influencer partners that then span into that affiliate space, which could even be, your YouTubers, your bloggers. And there we have about 25 partners. And then on a paid campaign, the last campaign that we did with Aspire IQ, we were running 70 new influencer partners there too. So it ebbs and flows throughout the year. I will say we have aggressive goals for 2021, and we'll work to triple those numbers.
Awesome. How many influencer campaigns do you think a company needs to test out to find the one that would work?
It's a lot of trial and error. It is a lot of trial and error.
Absolutely.
Like SEO, it takes time. Itself 6+ months, because it's like there are the unicorn influencers. It's like, who knew that our one influencer with 5,000 followers would have a CPA of $10
totally
and convert like crazy, right? And then we have a macro influencer with 500,000 followers, and in 2 months she gave us 80 conversions. That's amazing. But it takes time. We were working with our micro influencer Katie since last year, and then we just have this, right? And so it takes time.
Yeah, it definitely takes time. It's a long play.
It is.
But you learn so much over the course of that, right?
Yes, it's a long play that continues to work for you. And blogs are
for sure.
Even if you're doing campaigns that you have, you're working with influencers who have strong blogs with high UMV, then all of a sudden you have a long tail where Instagram story lives for 24 hours unless they're popping it into their highlights. But with a blog that's getting crazy traffic with really strong keywords and affiliate, you get sales off that blog post a year from now.
Oh yeah, the shelf life of a blog is amazing. It's don't forget about those bloggers out there. Work with them. It's all a part of the matrix of everyone you're working with and the different types of influencers you're working with. So we have a couple more questions. How are you using influencer content across your email, blogs, and social? I know you say you use it across so many different things, but I know to make sure you're getting the most use of your content, what are you currently doing with all of your influencer content?
Yes, we have brand guidelines, and if and when influencer content meets those brand guidelines, then they definitely are popped into our integrated marketing calendar as being a resource for email, for paid social. Seriously, billboards, that's an idea we have. I think we're going to do it, right? And so it's wherever we're serving up content, the potential to incorporate UGC and IGC is there for us.
Oh yeah. So last question, have you had success monetizing influencers, or is it purely a brand awareness play? Well,
we know the answer to this. Yes.
We know the answer to this. This is absolutely yes.
Insane success. And my hope is for everyone on this webinar to have that same level of success too. It's richer, it's authentic, it's real, it's a lot of fun. So if you guys ever need anything or have other questions, you know where to find me too. But yes, all day long, so much ROI in influencers, and brand awareness is just one of the many things that brands and companies are able to achieve when using influencer marketing in a strategic, well thought out way.
Totally. Well, that wraps it up. If there are no more questions, thank you guys for joining us for our Aspire Hire series. And also make sure to join the coffee shop. I saw some career questions in there. There's a lot of brand marketers that are interacting with one another, building relationships. So definitely go there and check it out.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.